Hello, everyone. I'm continuing my little journey into success and the astrological significators of being successful. In the first episode, I looked at the fact whether or not you are happy or unhappy, and we also treated the importance of IQ. And it was interesting. Some of you sent me messages that IQ is not everything, and I agree it's not everything, but the higher IQ you have, the higher potential you can become successful, simply because you will be able to learn a lot more than an average person with a lower IQ or just an average IQ. And as for happiness, again, I'm not stating that unless you are happy, you can't be successful. The happier you are, the better chance you have for success, simply because happy people are much more able to continue what they do, to feel good about what they do. Their energy is being boosted by being happy. Think about people who are in love, how they become much more beautiful, much younger actually. So happiness is making you simply more capable of achieving what you would like to. And being unhappy, especially for a longer period of time, that is something that really can cause you not to be successful. I have not seen a person who was thoroughly unhappy and nasty to others and just a bad person on the whole to be successful in the long run. You may become successful in certain things by not dealing with others' wishes and by just treating over everyone else and just being nasty to everyone, but it's not a long-term success. And also you may feel content for a while, but it won't make you happy, that's for sure. So actually, if you are happy, you have a much better chance to achieve what you really would like to do. And then I also looked at, in the second portion of the series, I looked at the fact that the most important ingredient for becoming successful is to be industrious. Industrious people are a lot more successful than average. If you put in long-term industriousness, if you do your homework, and if you endure certain periods of time when things are not going as well as you would like to, you have a much better chance to become successful. And in this video, I'm going to talk about vision, how important for you to have a vision if you want to become successful. Now we already are going to touch something that is very hard to explain if you don't have visions. And a lot of people do have visions. A lot of people are capable of imagining something in the future and just projecting it out there into the universe, so to speak, and then follow that vision. But a lot of people aren't. And sometimes what may be substituting this type of visualizing, something that you are coveting or you just hope to achieve, is when you word it, when you actually phrase it, when you sit down and write it down in sentences or in just words, what you would like to achieve. It doesn't really matter whether it's verbal or whether it's pictorial. The fact remains that you need to have a vision in order to become successful, something that you can really project out there and follow that dream. And so how can we actually see whether or not you have vision or you are capable of having a vision? Well, I'm going to first look at numerology. At Clearbrook, in my school where I teach, we also teach Atlantean numerology. And in Atlantean times, numerology was something that was practiced by almost everyone, just like astrology, by the way. And then later on, Pythagoras found the notes of Atlantean numerology, and he kind of converted it into what we have now. So it's a 2,500-year-old lore that was interpreted by Pythagoras, but it's much more older. And Atlantean numerology was also dealing not just with the numbers. Basically, just to give you a really sketchy outline of what are the most important ingredients of Atlantean numerology. Basically, you have three main numbers. The character number, which is the day you were born. I was born on the 24th, so my character is 24/6. But if you were born on the 9th, then your character is 9. Number 9 is going to describe your character. And the character number works both in a positive and in a negative way, because we have free choices. So we can actually decide how we are going to utilize it. At the karmic number, okay, everyone has a karmic number. You have to deduct 1 from your character number, and this is how you get your karmic number. It always works in a bad way. And then the destiny number, that is where you don't have free choice. When you add up the full digits of everything in your numeroscope, your date of birth, then you arrive at usually at a double digits number. This is your life path or destiny pathway, and then you will have to reduce it to a single digit, and that is your destiny number. And those numbers always work completely well and completely beautifully. But there you don't have free will, so you have to fulfill your destiny, so to speak. But this is and then we treat these numbers separately, and actually the empty planes become relevant when you use a little Pythagorean table and you only put in your character number. And then you may have a lot of empty planes. And I'm not going to talk about empty planes now, because this video is not about empty planes. It's just about how you can everyone can check whether you have a vision plane or not. The empty 357 is called, if you have these numbers empty in your Pythagorean table, but of course, if you were born sometime in the 1900s, you may actually have a full Pythagorean table. This is not what we are looking at, only your character number. So for instance, I have a vision plane because I was born on the 24th. So I put 2 here and 4 here, you see, and then of course I do have an empty vision plane. And if you were born on the 3rd or the 5th or the 7th, you don't have a vision plane. So also when you were born on the 13th or the 15th or the 27th, you also don't have a vision plane. You need to have 3, 5, and 7 empty. That's the vision plane. And empty planes usually have 2 meanings. They can work as some kind of weakness. And in this case, the vision plane can bring you self-doubt or being skeptical about your stuff. Or you can have special traits, special capacities. It can provide you with special capacities. And the vision plane, if you work it well, then it provides you with very strong visions and flashes of inspiration. And actually, it is one sign of being psychic. I can tell you why. You see, you have 3 numbers which actually cover the whole of the Pythagorean tablet. Number 3 is in the past column on the mental level. Number 5 is in the middle. It's in the present column, but on the emotional level. And number 7 is on the physical level in the future. So you get an inspiration, a mental inspiration that is stemming from the past, number 3. You bring it down to your heart, to your spiritual essence, to your soul, and it springs into life there. And then you take it down to the physical level in the future. So you project it into the future. It's a very strong plane. It can be destroyed by self-doubt, for sure. So if you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your vision and you start to question your vision, then of course you're going to annul it. But if you learn to trust your visions, if you learn to trust your imagination, and you are able to bring it down to the physical plane, and for this, of course, you need industriousness and endurance, then your visions will come to life. So that's the numerology portion. But let's see how you can actually, so don't be disappointed if you don't have a vision plane. Because there are some astrological aspects as well that you can utilize for your vision energy. And the most important aspects are Sun Uranus, Sun Neptune, and Sun trans Pluto. And I'm going to tell you why. The Sun is your ego development, is your chosen pathway for this life. This is what you want to become. This is what you are striving towards. And you have three transcendental objects, actually the two transcendental planets, and a third one, which is a centaur. As you can see, we don't have Pluto here because Pluto is different. Pluto is the magician. Okay, Pluto is who is putting everything into motion. But these three are bringing you visions in different ways, by the way, because Sun Uranus provides you with flashes of inspiration. And by the way, to make you understand why, if you are a beginner in astrology and you start reading about these planets, you will see so many bad stuff, so many negative stuff. Like Uranus brings you madness and craziness, and Neptune brings you alcoholism and or drug addiction and pink fog and whatever. There's not too much on trans Pluto, so you won't see that. But those two planets, and also in Pluto, Pluto also has a bad press, so to speak. But the reason why is because these are transcendental planets. If you are bringing them down to the muddy level of the third dimension, of course they are going to work badly. Okay, you need to go up, and that's their function, to uplift you to the higher spheres, to the higher dimensions. That's exactly what's happening when you have these aspects. I don't say that all the aspects are working perfectly, because obviously trines and conjunctions and parallels, contraparallels, and sextiles, and all the quintile series are working beautifully. But when you have a square or an opposition, or even a semi-square sesquiquadrate, you are actually questioning the function of these. So you won't actually believe them. But even then, the most important thing is whether or not you have those aspects. Because if you have those aspects, you can make them work. So Uranus brings flashes of inspiration. And Sun Neptune brings transcendence, and Sun trans Pluto brings you channeling. In a way, when you encounter these experiences, it's very, very easy to spot them. It's very easy to notify them. Uranus works in a very interesting way, because I don't know whether or not you have already been to a very dark place. I mean, the other day I just went down to my garage and the light was out, and I experienced this total blackness. And a couple of other times when I was in the country and I was walking home, and I never lose my way, but it was so dark I couldn't see anything. And then a lightning was flashing across the sky, and all of a sudden, for just a couple of seconds or split seconds, I saw everything, and I saw, okay, there's where I need to go, and that's the other way, which I won't. It just stayed on my retina, and that's exactly what Uranus brings. Those flashes of aha, inspiration, the awe. By which you all of a sudden know what you want to or you need to do. So that's brilliant. I unfortunately don't have that, but whatever. I do have Mercury, Uranus, which is almost the same. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. I do have Sun, Neptune, and Sun, Neptune works differently because it brings you inspiration, it brings you transcendence, it brings you dreams, premonitions. It's never a flashy thing. It's more like a creep. It's creeping on you. It's like a feeling of otherworldliness, and you see visions. You glimpse things from the corner of your eyes. It works beautifully, by the way. I think true vision comes through Neptune because you really get pictures. With Uranus, it's more flashes. It's not pictures per se. And then Trans-Pluto brings you channeling, the potential, the ability to download things from above. And you get either messages, sometimes pictures, sometimes signs, which you need to interpret. But if you have a very strong Trans-Pluto, it means that you are able to do that. Don't fret if you don't have those aspects with your Sun, because actually Mercury and the Moon can substitute it beautifully. The Moon brings you all these that I just enumerated from some sort of inner core. It's not conscious. It's more like it's working on your subconscious, or it's working on a soul level. So it's much harder to actually word it. It becomes more like a feeling, less like a conscious thought. And with Mercury, you get a conscious thought and a very verbalized way of understanding these phenomena. If you have any of those, you do have vision. If you have vision, you can project it out to the world. You can project it out into the universe. And it works two ways, because first you project it out. It means that it arrives somewhere out there. And then while you are having the vision is going to govern you, guide you, what you need to do. So that's the second most ingredient, or third most ingredient, really. When I spoke about success and the IQ, those are important, but they are not vital ingredients. Well, IQ in a way is, because, as I said, under 85, you are unable to learn things. That's the problem. So there's no pathway for you to treat on. There's no future development included in your pathway. With endurance and industriousness, nothing can overtake that. Those are the single most important ingredients. But vision helps you to love it. It helps you to actually covet it. And it gives you the feeling that this is something that I can achieve. I hope you do have a vision. I hope you either have a vision plane in your numeroscope or any of those aspects. And if you do, please project your visions out there, and they will help you to achieve success. Thank you for listening.